I'm Dr. Simon Park and I'm a microbiologist from the University of Surrey. Basically, you've got old laboratory equipment filled with artificial seawater agar, and it's been inoculated with a bacterium called Photobacterium phosphorium that lives naturally in seawater, and when it grows it naturally produces this lovely blue-green glow that you can see before you. One of the really fascinating things about the light that you see here is that when these organisms are actually in association with the fish or the anglerfish, they produce the light, but when they're free living in seawater they don't, because the light that they produce is incredibly energetically expensive, so they'd much rather not do it if they don't have to. So when people first started to study bioluminescence, they wanted to know what the switch was that the bacteria in the fish recognised that the bacteria in the general environment didn't recognise, that told them to produce light in the fish. And after about 5 or 10 years of research, they found it wasn't a switch that the fish had, but it was the bacteria actually communicating with each other. So when they're in the light organ of a fish, they produce a chemical that builds up to a certain threshold, and when that builds up to a threshold, they know there are enough bacteria around them that if they start producing light, it will produce light that will be able to be seen. But when they're in seawater as single cells, they still produce that chemical, but it never builds up to a high enough concentration. So that was the first study really that showed bacteria talked to each other. And that was in this exotic bacterium, but now we know 20, 30 years later that all bacteria talk to each other, and to cause infection they have to talk to each other, and to do many of the things they do in the environment they also have to talk to each other. So these sort of studies in something quite exotic has led to something quite fundamental in terms of microbiology.